Committee on Data Center Siting Regulations. Looks like we are all here with the exception of two people. I think we have two absent. Lacey Willard and Mary Zurbach are both absent, so you can go ahead and note everybody else as present. Dawn. Our first order of business this evening will be the approval of the July 27th meeting minutes that were submitted electronically. I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second? All right, moved and seconded to approve the July 27th meeting minutes. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Tell me who made the motion in second.
I seconded.
Renee moved it, yeah.
Was Renee made the motion and it was seconded by Julie?
Julie, yeah.
Okay.
All right, unfortunately, this meeting, I'll just let everybody know that it has been properly noticed in accordance with Indiana Code 514.1.5. It is being recorded, so I would like for you to know that by participating, you acknowledge that your image, voice, and comments may be captured and made publicly available. Unfortunately, the county had a serious technology issue at about 4 o'clock, so this is being recorded, but it is not being live streamed right now, but it will be as soon as they're able to get it back up. Everything that's recorded here this evening will be placed on the YouTube channel and be made publicly available as usual. So everybody sitting in a black chair is on camera, just to let you know. That's kind of the view angle of the camera. So there's a lot of new folks here this evening, so I'll just kind of real quickly give you a quick update and summary of what this committee has been doing. This is the 4th meeting of this committee. It started on May 18th was our first meeting, and about that same time, the Planning Commission and the Board of Commissioners adopted a data center overlay ordinance. And we can get into that a little bit more if need be, but that overlay ordinance basically was sort of a starting line for this type of project in the county, where it basically required any project of that type to go through a zoning process that ended at the Board of Commissioners for their final approval. Currently, it's a shell ordinance, and it requires all of these projects to be our most restrictive zoning ordinance, which is the IG ordinance. And anything other than that would require a rezone. And then the purpose of this committee is to discuss, learn, and make suggestions to the Planning Commission, who would then take those suggestions and those ideas and direct that into a more enhanced overlay ordinance with some additional requirements and restrictions and safeguards. That work has gone on, like I said, now for 3 meetings. After our last meeting, a subgroup of this committee met and summarized all of those meetings and created a list of important topics that came out of that this committee felt that the Planning Commission and the Board of Commissioners should consider when entertaining emerging technology projects such as data centers. That document was sent to the Planning Commission last month as sort of a first round. The outcome of this meeting would be added to that, but the Planning Commission did go ahead and direct staff to start drafting into the ordinance, which they have done, and we're going to get a little update on that this evening as well. And the Planning Commission will get an update on that also on August 25th. So the purpose of this 4th meeting this evening is to hear now from the public. This committee has heard from experts live, and we've also heard commentary on a lot of different documents that we've read, a lot of research. Many of these committee members have also created some documentation that they've shared with everybody, and then that is what's in these summary documents that I was referencing that have gone on to the Planning Commission, and has also been being used by staff with projects that are starting to emerge in the county. So the work of this committee has been being implemented and has been giving some direction to staff as they start to be faced with projects of these types, these emerging technology type projects. So this evening what we're going to do is we're going to hear from anybody that wanted to speak. We had, I think, 18 people that signed up online, and I think we've got another 9 here that we've got set to speak, so we'll probably be able to give everybody about 3 minutes. to speak, and then that'll leave us some time at the end for this group to discuss what we've talked about and discuss what topics of anything new that have come up that we want to put into these summary documents that would then go to a final report with the Planning Commission so that they could continue the work on the ordinance overlay that would then be moved to the Board of Commissioners for any additional work on that. I'm sure everybody's aware a project was brought to the commissioners this morning as a letter of intent. The way that ordinance works is that's the first step. A developer brings a letter of intent that explains their project to the Board of the Commissioners, and that allows the Board of Commissioners to begin open discussions on the project. The meeting this evening has nothing to do with that. The folks here on this committee don't really have any insight on that project, so we're only talking about data center projects, emerging technology projects as a whole, and how our county wants to deal with them, how we want them cited, where we want them cited, how they fit into our comp plan, and anything that we would want to put as far as regulations, safeguards, and guardrails on projects like that. So we do ask that you please don't ask us any questions about that because we cannot answer them. We don't know. If you look at your agenda, on the left side, there's a list of everybody that's serving on this committee, and it gives you an idea of what area of the county they're representing, not just township, but we have people representing, obviously, the Planning Commission and the BZA, and then we have some utilities and then some citizen members. We do have Ms. Gray, who is a commissioner, obviously, as a non-voting member, and Mr. Clark Smith, who is representing the County Council as also a non-voting member. So with that, Kayla was going to give a quick summary of the work that she's been doing for the Planning Commission to kind of work on that overlay.
Lectern on.
Do we have enough technology to do it? We do.
Just enough.
Just enough.
Yep. All right. Okay, Kayla Brooks, Planning Director. So over the course of the last month, looking at the documents that this committee has produced, as well as the information from the experts that were able to come to these meetings, as well as some other ordinances that the county has worked on over the past couple of years, such as the solar ordinance. I've begun to draft an amendment to our data center overlay, adding some more regulations to that skeleton framework. As you'll all recall, Ordinance Number 1, which was passed in June 2026, laid out important framework by defining data center as what a modern-day data center is, limiting data center land use to the IG, or industrial general zoning district, and requiring its inclusion of any sort of future project in a data center overlay district. And it also set up a process for review of data center proposals that starts with the Board of Commissioners. Moving forward, these are concepts to consider in those future amendments to the UDO that relate to data centers. Setbacks beyond the standard required setbacks for IG zoning districts, which are at 50 to 100 feet, requiring data centers to be a minimum distance from certain sensitive land uses. A proposal would be a 1,000-foot minimum between any primary data center structure and any residential primary structure, school, or cultural natural resource as identified by our county comprehensive plan. Height is another item that we need to discuss more as it relates to data centers. These are typically multi-story structures. So for instance, 70 feet is not an uncommon height to see. Our current zoning district would limit that to 50 feet. Of course, all buildings in something like the airport overlay would be subject to FAA's height regulations as well. But one thing we could do in an overlay district is consider making the height different than for the underlying zoning district. So we could make it more specific to data centers if we want them to be more vertical, less horizontal. Okay, noise is a big one. We've heard a lot about noise. So this This proposal on how to regulate noise in the data center overlay, I looked at the Lynn County, Iowa ordinance, as well as just some different regulations that we've discussed with the experts and things like that. Pre-development ambient noise study would be required with any application. Post-development noise study would be provided within 90 days of each data center building's operation and within 90 days of the 5th anniversary of the first data center building's operation and every 5 years thereafter, so long as the site remains in the data center overlay. Noise studies shall be conducted by a certified professional of the Institute of Noise Control Engineering, which I didn't know was a thing until I was reading through Lynn County's ordinance. So I'm getting an education on this too. Okay. Additionally, we can limit the amount of noise in decibels that is coming off of a data center. So operational noise caused by a data center project at the property lines may not exceed an additional decibel dBA or plus 20 decibel dBc. And once again, I am no engineer, so I'm pretty much looking at what other places have done and trying to work with this. But we do know that it's important to regulate noise on 2 different levels because these are things that impact communities that data centers are in.
Want the definition of the A versus C?
If you give it to me briefly.
I can give it to you really briefly.
Okay.
A is what the human ear hears. C is the noise that's more ambient, like a hum,
Thank
something you
you.
might feel.
Lower level, it's the worst.
Thank you. Right. I would also point out that our industrial standards already require that operational industrial noise be undetectable at the boundaries of residential and commercial zoning districts without the aid of instruments. That is already written into our ordinance. Noise created by emergency generator use is exempt during actual power loss or testing, and equipment testing, maintenance activities, and construction activities that generate elevated noise, including generator testing, shall be limited to the hours of between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. So these are just suggestions and things that I've seen now in other communities' ordinances. Okay, architectural standards. Our architectural standards need to be updated for our industrial buildings in general. We could look specifically at data centers through this process, or we could choose to just generally update our industrial building standards. And rather than looking so much at particular design, because they are industrial warehousey type buildings, we can look more at things like number of materials, colors, textures, articulation, breaks in the building facade, things like this to just break up what the wall of an industrial building that we oftentimes see. Additionally, fence and wall standards. This would add to the fence and wall standards that we have in our current development standards already. It would require that fences and walls within 100 feet of the property line of a data center project be decorative. So it just adds a little decorative element to what can be seen from those property lines and additionally softened by landscaping. All right, next, and this is almost done, I promise.
Well, these are
Additionally,
important things.
we get into changes in ownership, an operation plan, and an annual status report as items to include with the data center project information. An operation plan, for example, would include an ongoing maintenance plan, a crisis management plan that would be really important to our public safety personnel, details of the backup energy source, and plans for removal of inoperable or decommissioned equipment that would talk about what happens when these things get old, age out. What is the disposal plan for them? That annual status report, too, is fairly open-ended at this point, but what it could be used to do is report on any environmental issue you would like them to report on. If there is something we want to monitor outside of, say, like the noise that I've already given some suggestions on, water, power usage, things like that, that could be things we require in that annual status report. Additional application requirements. A utility plan and feasibility report. That should be required with the application. We currently do this already with subdivisions. So any major subdivision comes in, we say, give us a will-serve letter that says this is actually feasible from the electric provider, the water provider, the sanitary sewer provider, and also show us that drainage plan. Show us how this is all actually going to function and is possible. So in the case of a data center, since we know this is a touchy subject and has some concerns regarding energy usage, we would prefer, I think we should require, letters from utility providers that would explain the following. Any system upgrade to or utility line extension that the project will require, showing where these upgrades or extensions will go and what they will look like, how such upgrades will be funded and how they will not cause a rate increase for existing utility customers. As you guys know, we talked with with both the Purdue professor, Dr. Gallardo, and Charlie, the planning director from Lynn County, Iowa, about how that has played out in those communities. Okay, a construction period plan that would include at least traffic management and parking plan, laydown and staging areas, and temporary storage areas. So here's the final site plan, but let's talk about what it's going to look like in the meantime too. All right, and items that are for review but are subject to final approval by others. So not really the planning department or planning commission's job, but things we want to make sure are in the packet so that other departments can review. Stormwater drainage, erosion and sediment control requirements, abandonment, decommissioning and site restoration plan, economic development agreement, traffic management plan, and bonds and financial assurance. We also want to talk about process abandonment and expiration. If a development plan is not approved after a period of 1 year from the date the properties were approved to be part of the overlay district or rezoned, the properties shall revert back to the original zoning district subject to the discretion of the Board of Commissioners, of course. A development plan approval expires if a permit is not issued within 2 years from the date of approval. And if within 2 years of that expiration of a development plan, a new development plan is not approved, the property shall be removed from the overlay district subject to the discretion of the Board of Commissioners. So basically, it kind of adds a sunset into any approvals like that if they don't play out in the timeline that they said they would. All right. Bonds or financial assurance requirements. I did want to get into this just a little bit. So at the discretion of the county executive, bonds or financial assurance may be required by the owner or operator of a data center in an amount acceptable and as approved by the county executive or the Board of Commissioners. If required, the executive may include the following as parts of the bonds or financial assurance. Reconstruction of public infrastructure due to construction activity related to the project, as approved in the traffic management plan. Damage to drainage infrastructure, decommissioning as described in the decommissioning plan, a requirement for providing periodic proof of financial assurance to the levels necessary, and any other bond or financial assurance that the county executive finds necessary. That way, if they break something, essentially in the county, roads, drainage, things like that, they are going to fix it. And we have assurance that that's going to happen. Once again, just like we do and have been doing in subdivisions, where we require financial guarantee when somebody puts in water lines or a road in our community that they have done it right, and we keep that for a number of years. All right, so that's the end of my, my spiel. The further amendments to the UDO that we would need to consider going forward. Data center types and tiers. This was something that we know exists and we want to work on more, but at this point that is going to take some additional research and time. So we're going to hold that out for future updates. And then technological advances are happening so fast in this field. We are sure by the time we get to that part of updating this, there's going to be new stuff we haven't even, none of us know about yet. So, all All right, that's my update. I'll let Mike take over again.
Yeah, so just for a point of clarification, when she references the UDO, that's another project that's happening in the county where we're taking our zoning ordinance and converting it to a unified development ordinance, where we're taking zoning subdivision control, lumping it into a modern ordinance. Currently, what's being done with that is we are simply taking all of the current information and putting it in that new format. And then as the next year or so goes by, there's going to be amendments to that, zoning amendments that are going to update our zoning ordinance. And so when she says updates to the UDO as it relates to these types of projects, it's because that's an ongoing project. So what she just presented, so that you all know, that's going to the Plan Commission next week, right? So she'll present that to the Plan Commission next week as the current status of updates to the overlay. And they'll have to make a decision if they want to move that to anything more concrete to move to the commissioners, I suppose. But more than likely, it'll need some additional work after that.
Quick question. Does the committee have the opportunity to question or add to anything that was presented in that? Or is that a final copy of what's being presented?
I would say yes. So if you want to send Kayla some comments via email or comment, that would be perfectly fine.
As you can imagine, I
Yeah.
have some.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
do.
Yeah.
Watching.
That's, that's what we're here for.
That'll be a living document for a while, won't it?
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll move on to our public comment section here. So what I'd like everybody here to do on the committee is, as you're listening, anything that pops up as a new topic that we haven't discussed before that you think is something we should discuss, should be put into any of these documents that Kayla shared with us this evening. Make a note of that. We'll discuss at the end, and then see if we can't get our subgroup to document that and move that on to Kayla for her guiding documents as she's working on that ordinance. We have 28 people. So what I'm going to try and do, Rhonda normally keeps the time, but she's going to be taking some super detailed notes. So I'm going to try and run the clock here, but we'll give everybody 3 minutes. And
Let's not cut anybody off like this morning.
yeah, so, well, we may have to keep things going.
Well, if they
But-
do their 3 minutes,
Yeah.
but let's not interrupt
Yeah.
their talk.
So,
Unless it's required by security.
yeah. So what we'll do is
Feel free.
we'll try and hold it to 3 minutes. What I might ask is if what you have to say has already been said, maybe cut some time short on what you've got to say so that we're not hearing the same thing over and over again, just as to be conscious of everybody's time and commitments here this evening.
I think if it's possible to give maybe people a 30-second warning,
Okay.
but do try to keep them to the 3 minutes because it's not fair to others if
Yeah.
people get to go longer.
Yep.
Are you going to
So
keep
maybe
the
the
time?
30-second warning could be like pencil
Yeah.
flag.
Yeah, I'm a little notorious of getting wrapped up in what people are saying and don't look at the clocks. So I'll try.
I was just
Yeah.
referring to them being interrupted mid
I'll be
their
a clock
Yeah.
watch
We
for
hear
if
you.
want.
Yeah. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started here. So, so the folks that signed up online will be going first, and so that is our order this evening. So, speaker number 1 will be Brenda Smith, Sugar Creek Township. Brenda here. Brenda not here. Okay, moving right along. Speaker number 2, Stephanie Jo Yoakum from Lawrence.
I'll keep my own time for you if you want. So I'm
Right.
pretty particular about those things. My name is Stephanie Yoakum, and I do not live in Hancock County, but I do live across the street from Hancock County. I also live in House District 88, which is a portion of Hancock County. And over the last 3 years, I have knocked on thousands of Hancock County doors and talked to thousands of residents. And there are 2 issues that come up the most when I talk to residents. And the first one is affordability. You might not be surprised by that. And the second one is data centers. And there's a lot of mistrust and a lot of concern around that. And so from what I've learned from listening to these folks, I've come up with sort of like 3 things that when I think about responsible development or when I think about development seem very important. And the first one is a question of, is it responsible? Is it responsible for our resources? Is it responsible for our physical health, our environmental health? Do we have the safety measures in place, the firefighters, the police resources in place? Is it a responsible development? Is it aligned with our vision? The second one is does it center the people most impacted? This morning I attended the commissioners meeting. We heard from folks at Woodhaven who live less than a mile away from where the LOI was sent in from for potentially a new data center. Are we listening to the people who are most impacted? Do we understand what they need? And the third thing is it mutually beneficial, not for the short term, but the long term? And I guess the fourth question really should be, can we answer all of those questions? And for me, if the answer is no, that raises some really, really great concerns. I think the other thing I really want to say that's important, not just for this group, but for everybody here. First of all, thank you all for doing this, for volunteering your time, for digging in and really helping Hancock be responsible in making these decisions. But it's really important for folks to know that when we talk about data centers, we often talk about it just at a county or local level, but it's not just a county or local issue. There's a lot of conversation about data centers at the state legislature. The state legislature has done a lot of things to make it easier and easier for data centers to come in. They have exempted them from the 7% sales tax on utilities. They did not do that for Hoosiers. They exempted them from sales tax on the equipment that they need to buy for their data centers. They've made it easier and easier. And just in the last session, there was an attempt to also allow them to override the local ordinances that you just talked about around zoning. And so this is not to threaten anyone or say, doesn't matter what we do here because they may override us. That might be true if the legislature stays in its current makeup. But what I am asking folks to understand is that your voice, your opinion, and your needs matter here, but they also matter at the State House. Thank you all for what you're doing. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is Charles Gill of Center Township.
I think we want to probably encourage no clapping.
No clapping, yeah.
Hold your applause to the
Hold
end,
your applause. Thank you.
in the interest of time.
Try to get through the 3 minutes standing. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much. And I do want to echo Stephanie Joe's comments. Thank you for doing what you're doing. This is a very vital resource for everyone. So my expertise is in the water and wastewater space. I've been doing it for over 20 years. And I kind of think about kind of some things that Stephanie Joe brought up, that what are the impacts? What are the long-term ramifications? Some of these things have been talked about with closed-loop cooling systems for water. Even in the best closed-loop system, you're still going to have to flush the system, refill it, do some other things. And we don't want to get centered up on just what the actual data center itself uses, but what its ancillary buildings also use. So there's something to also consider in that. Wastewater treatment, this is another one. We've kind of undertook in the general health of the public to try and get rid of septic systems. So I would actually encourage us to think about a data center project comes in, maybe we have them contribute or fund entirely a new regional wastewater treatment system that then could help our residents get off of septic systems, and then possibly even design it for water reuse to feed water back to the data center so it could actually use that for its cooling processes. That is a good technology, and it's a good answer to think about for others. A couple other things I just wanted to bring up about generators. Emergency generators in a data center setup is a little bit of a tricky wicket. There's diesel generators, there's natural gas generators. Honestly, anything that burns fuel is not necessarily the best thing in the universe, but that's the technology we have at present. So I would encourage the application of a low emissions generator like natural gas to limit the off-gassing and air pollution to the community. And then also in the sound ordinances, I know it was talked about a little bit earlier, but with their HVAC systems, make sure that those are sound attenuated as well, as not just the generators being sound attenuated in the center itself, but the HVAC systems as well. One last thing I wanted to cut, 2 last points I have is I would actually encourage an aquifer study for any area that we have surrounding or where a data center project would go. So we would understand how are we affecting our groundwater recharge rates for our area. Yes, you wouldn't tell it from what we've had. We've had a lot of rain here lately, but that's not the norm. So droughts are a serious consideration. There's a lot of worry with that, so just something to think about. The last thing I would offer is, again, environmentally friendly, thinking about any impervious area that these facilities might have to be covered with a solar
30
canopy
seconds.
to help solar panels over their parking areas or roofing systems so they can kind of get back to the grid for those folks around them. That's all I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah. All right. We're going to clap at the end, remember? All right, so we have Leslie Leisure, and then after her will be Michael Donofrio. So if you want to get yourself ready to be after Miss Leisure. Leslie Leisure? Not here? Okay. Michael Donofrio? How about that? Lauren Kaiser. All right. And after Lauren will be Sarah Gray. Lauren, I'm sorry. Did I say Laura? Sorry about that.
Good evening, everybody. So everyone has already thanked you, and I want to do that too, but I also want to thank you guys for your comments because they raised a lot of really great concerns and questions that I think are very necessary to consider. And in an effort to not repeat what has already been said, because I do really love everything that was presented by Kayla, and I really would encourage you to pursue all of those things. I don't think any single one of those things should be dropped. I think we should be heavily restricting. I would start off by saying a moratorium is an option, right? Like, it's good for us to create this, you know, the overlay and have a plan and all of that, but we can take our sweet time. To be quite frank, from what I've seen of Indiana in general compared to other states, we like to be, you know, one of the last to get our butts in gear for doing stuff. So we don't have to move ahead with these anytime soon. And I think we should take our sweet, sweet time when planning this out and, you know, do all of the impact studies and everything. And then so my other point that I want to talk about with regard to, you know, what can we make these data centers do, like the former gentleman just mentioned about having them, you know, pay for wastewater treatment or whatever. As far as the setbacks go and environmental impact, there's no reason why we can't say you need to plant a certain number of trees, you need to create a park, anything creative like that where we can create a useful buffer. Because quite frankly, retention ponds are not good enough. Large open grassy spaces are not good enough. You know, a pavement trail, while it's nice, not good enough. We need to be thinking about the future of the county as a whole, and we can't continue to go from, you know, a state that formerly used to be like 80% forested to just farmland and then just to developed concrete space, right? They've got billions of dollars to throw around. I think they can afford some trees.
Oh, well done. Thank you. All right, Sarah Gray, and after Sarah will be Sonia Clark.
Hi, I'm Sarah Gray
Off you
from
go.
New Palestine. I also want to thank you. I want to thank the people here. I want to thank the people who are waiting online to join here as well. I agree with a lot of what has been said here. I have 3 concerns that I wanted to talk about today. I'm concerned about the environment. There was a timely article today about Indiana keeps draining wetlands and now we're drowning in floods. Just the environment, everything that has been said is a serious concern. I'm also concerned that our feedback is not being maybe taken as seriously, and that maybe this is a symbolic gesture, and I hope I'm incorrect in that. I want to know what the next steps are for community involvement. I'm concerned that we don't have enough legal protections and documentation to ensure compliance, and if there's any violations, that we have sufficient remedies and recourse included in any of that. So I still have 2 minutes. Since I think this will probably go forward regardless, and putting aside the jobs that are created for just the construction period, I'm concerned about any long-term impacts to our job situation. I want to ensure that this is additive and an improvement and doesn't result in any job losses, basically. I'm not opposed to all new data centers. I think someone, maybe Stephanie, had mentioned that we need to be very thoughtful about this. And I just want to make sure that we have our protections. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Miss Sonia Clark here. You're passing? Okay. Donna Leota from Center Creek Township. We're going to have extra time at the end.
I'll have to speak then.
Catherine Cooper from New Palestine. After Catherine will be Pam Allen.
Hello. And I also want to thank the committee for all the tireless hard work you've done. I also agree with what everybody has said about the environmental impacts and the extractive nature of hyperscale data centers. But one thing I want to address is what's driving all this, and that's artificial intelligence and the gathering of our data. And as of right now, AI is completely unregulated. And I think that needs to be addressed before we move forward full steam ahead. AI does have a lot of potential benefits, for sure, but there's also a lot of potential harm and injury that can occur due to it being unregulated. Some of those specific harms include dangers to our privacy and our economics. Different experts have warned that a logarithmic decision-making can impair jobs, affect jobs in a negative way, and also lead to unfair corporate practices such as AI-driven surveillance pricing. Unregulated AI also promotes massive surveillance by collecting our personal data. And this will result in a continuous surveillance monitoring situation and even warrantless type searches, essentially. Cybersecurity breaches are another issue that I think we need to be aware of, and those have already occurred, where advanced models have bypassed controls and done cyber hacking. Most recently with OpenAI and Anthropic, we saw that like within the past few months. And without regulation, that's going to continue. Copyright and creator exploitation is already problematic with artificial intelligence, and creators and public figures have testified how their images and work have been ingested to train models, without their compensation and without their permission. Scams, fraud, deception are already problematic, and with unregulated AI, I think it's only going to get worse. And just in general, there's a lot of uncertainty around artificial intelligence. I mean, it's a trend. It's a bubble that's likely to burst at some point, as others have in the past. Much of AI infrastructure is financed by private credit, as opposed to traditional banks and lending institutions.
30 seconds.
Okay, and this type of financial system is very vulnerable to disruption. But if we're not careful, we may be sacrificing our land and our resources for something that'll have moved on in a decade. And how soon will this technology be obsolete? And what will we do with these ghost structures that are left behind? I just say keep Hancock County's quality of place initiative front and center in your mind as you make decisions going forward. Thank you.
Right at 3 minutes. Good job. Perfect. Thank you. All right, Pam Allen. Pam Allen, yes, and after Miss Allen, we'll have Sally Parsons.
Hi, my name's Pam Allen. I'm a resident of Hancock County, and please bear with me. I'm not used to speaking in public, so that's why I have this paper. I don't, as you said, don't, reiterate things. So I guess what I would like to say, with all the concerns about the wildlife, wetlands, especially like what's going on in Fort Wayne, the air and noise pollution possibilities, and the possibility of electric and water prices going up, I really think we need more time to sort through these issues, and we should not be in a rush. I say we should wait to see how the ones under construction turn out and whether they deliver any benefits. And what happens if the AI bubble bursts, where the developer goes bankrupt, which is probably not very likely, but is the county going to be stuck with big, ugly, abandoned data centers, just like we have with all the empty warehouses? I say that a moratorium is just really what we need to do now. Now, I know some people say that we should encourage the data centers because it'll give the county more money for things like our schools and the fire departments. And I agree the fire departments need a lot of help. But money is not the most important thing in the world. I've lived in Hancock County for about 20 years, and we have very good schools and government. We are about the fastest growing county in the state, and we are doing just fine without data centers. So I'm just pleased asking for a moratorium on data centers for now. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
We're not doing very well with the no clapping thing, so please refrain until the end. Sally Parsons? No Sally Parsons? Linda Dunn?
All these people signed up and show up.
Linda Dunn?
What's going to happen?
Linda, okay, and after Linda will be Paulette Richardson.
Hello, everyone. I will apologize in advance. My name is Linda Dunn. I'm a lifelong resident of Hancock County and a retired Department of Defense employee. I manage computers, networks, storage, and I have some sincere concerns about how this is going to play out in Hancock County. And my apology is because I'm working with a processor and it doesn't have closed captioning, and it's kind of hard to lip read from people's back. So if I repeat anything, I apologize. I'll note that a recent 2026 report, I think it came out in June, from, thank you, Georgia Tech, shows that data centers overwhelmingly benefit metropolitan areas, but they do not benefit rural areas. Given the location that the letter of intent has given us, which is out by the airport, that means probably we're going to be greatly benefiting Marion County, but it's unlikely that Hancock County is going to receive any real benefits from this, especially in the number of employees. And the track record for data centers is not very good. And I wonder it's nice that we have something in place where we're going to test periodically and make sure that whoever's responsible for the data center is following through with what the ordinance requires them to do. But what are the penalties if they don't? Do we have any kind of a backup plan? That's one thing coming out of a computer environment. My first thought is, okay, what happens if this doesn't work? What happens if they do violate this? What happens if we have pollution emissions? What happens if we have noise? We just fold up our tent and say, well, we can't do anything about it. Do we have anything that you're considering to put in place that will enforce them to do the things that they need to do? And I'm keeping this brief because I'm very uncomfortable speaking in public. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Paulette Richardson. Is Paulette Richardson here? That you? Okay, after that we'll have Jack Wildey will be after Paulette Richardson. Jack Wildey, yeah.
Good evening. I'm Paulette Richardson. I live in the city of Greenfield, and I thank you for this opportunity to address you this evening, and I want to thank you for the work that you've put into this project and trying to get ahead of data centers in Hancock County. I hope some of you have taken the opportunity to visit existing data centers, and maybe you've taken a trip up to Boone County to visit the construction site of the Meta data center. I agree with everything that's been said previously this evening. I don't believe the citizens of Hancock County should bear any cost or any inconvenience related to the data center, be it electricity, water, construction, pollution, anything that happens. Everything I know about this project mostly comes from the Daily Reporter. So I saw the $22 million mentioned in one of the articles. I hope that's just an opening bid and that you get everything that this county deserves to make this project more bearable for the taxpayers of Hancock County. As I was reading through your data center overlay, do you know when these will be adopted into the UDO? Do you have any time frame for that? A couple of things were obviously missing to me. You don't have water quality standards and you don't have air standards. Both of these need to be addressed in this moving forward because when those diesel engines kick on, there will be pollution and they will affect some of the people in the immediate area. And the water, you know, they are proposing a closed loop system, but what are they going to do when that water needs to be recycled or disposed of? What are you going to do with the PFAS, those forever chemicals that are in that water? You know, they have the potential to leak into wells and groundwater. So I think you do need to set some standards for both air quality and water quality. There's a statewide water study that's supposed to be completed later this year. So I hope that you will not rush this and not take that water study into account. Also, I hope you tighten up your construction guidelines because if you've been to Boone County and seen all the dust and the condition of the roads, somebody must have forgot to get the water truck out there and spray the dust down. So I think you really need to tighten those up.
All right, that's time. I apologize. Thank you.
Oh.
3 minutes over. Yeah, it goes quick. Thanks.
Oh,
Thank
okay.
you.
Well, thank you.
Jack Wildy here? No Jack.
I thought he was here.
Thomas Leonard? No Thomas Leonard. Rhonda McDaniel? Rhonda McDaniel? No. Emily O'Malley, Vernon Township? All right. And after Emily, we have Deborah Evans.
Hello, can you hear me okay? Most of what I wanted to say was already said, so I'll cut this down a lot. But thank you very much for hosting this hearing. My name is Emily, and I don't want to be here tonight. I feel like despite enormous pushback from our community, concerns are still not truly being heard, and I know that's not quite the scope of this meeting, but bear with me. I moved to McCordsville from the Chicago area in 2021 with my husband and our 2 young children. I was excited to be a part of this growing community. I naively thought that that would include things like helping to shape our park development, exploring local restaurants, enjoying town events, and volunteering when I had extra time outside of a full-time job and being a parent. What I didn't expect was having to stand here on a Tuesday night as I missed my son's first soccer practice to plead my case as to why data centers will cause more harm than good in this community. I thought the evidence for the harm they do was so obvious that everyone would agree, but when it comes to money, I guess nothing is off the table. So we've already heard from multiple people tonight about their concerns, and I echo them all wholeheartedly. No amount of money could make me believe that the 60 to 100 plus data centers being discussed across the state are necessary. My ask for you tonight is a moratorium at a minimum, and for better communication to the community. I know you all are doing the best you can, and communication is my background, so I get how difficult it is, but the everyday person does not understand what any of this means. I'm educated, I read up, I listen to what everyone's saying, and I still don't really understand where you're at in this process. So I can't imagine people that maybe aren't searching for the information are ever going to know this. So my ask is to figure out a better way to maybe communicate this to the everyday person. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. So, okay, do we have Deborah Evans? After that, we'll have Lee Robinson.
Hi, my name is Debbie Evans. I'm a Hancock County resident. I have been a medical social worker for more than 40 years. I moved back to Indiana 26 years ago when I got a job at Methodist Hospital and had to find a place to buy a home. I visited Greenfield and came across the plaque outside the courthouse that said that Greenfield was first settled in 1818 in Blue River Township. Greenfield was chosen as the county seat in 1829. It was described as green fields, inviting to weary travelers. I decided this was the perfect place to buy a house and make my home. These are my concerns about the data centers. Other data centers that have been built across the country have already been reporting problems. There are no birds or living animals around data centers. Why? And does this indicate potential harm for humans? The data centers use existing groundwater and reservoirs, and energy supplies and residents' utilities and water bills increase. The community around the South Bend data center is reporting their water has turned brown. The data centers use diesel engines to supplement their energy, causing toxic fumes which increase asthma and respiratory problems and high volume of constant noise, which is also a pollutant. The data centers are massive and use up green space. These are some of my uppermost thoughts. I bought my house in Greenfield 26 years ago in Whitcomb Meadows, where every street name is the title of a James Whitcomb Riley poem. James Whitcomb Riley is the poet laureate for the state of Indiana, and Greenfield was his home. He wrote a poem, The Old Swimmin' Hole, in 1882 that expressed his love for Greenfield. I would like to read just a few lines from that poem. Oh, the old swimmin' hole, when I last saw the place, the scenes was all changed, like the change in my face. The bridge of the railroad now crosses the spot where the old divin' log lay sunk and forgot. And I stray down the banks where the trees used to be, but never again will their shade shelter me. And I wish in my sorrow I could strip to the soul and dive off in my grave like the old swimmin' hole. I hope the data centers do not replace the old swimmin' hole. There is no amount of money the big tech companies can give you to replace the green fields and the swimmin' hole.
All right, Lee Robinson, sorry. I wanted to throw an extra N in there on you.
Right, so
Sorry.
bravo. Actually, I did work in safety for 10 years under NDOT. A lot of concerns. You were talking about environmental issues with getting rid of extra dust and things like that. Sound, obviously anything above 80 decibels for long periods of time can cause hearing loss. And again, what are we going to do about that? What are we getting in writing if there are consequences? Again, things like water the gentleman was talking about, we need in writing. What are they planning on doing? Are they pulling from aquifers? Are they pulling from the city water? If they do pull from the aquifers, we've already seen what happened with 9 Star when they did a large pull. They actually damaged wells, and that's thousands of dollars that people have to pay out of pocket that they shouldn't be burdened with. People are already having issues with just day-to-day living expenses. You know, a $7,000 well, which we currently had rebuilt not that long ago, is too much to ask for a normal family. And people are talking about wildlife around the area. Why is it not being addressed about farmers having many stillbirths in their cattle? We are a farming community out here. That's a very large concern. People are saying bees are disappearing. Again, we're a farming community. What do we do without the bees? That's a huge problem. Also, and nobody's talked about, what are they capturing at this data center? Is it flock cameras? Is it medical data? I've already seen studies about flock cameras being used incorrectly, stalking people, things like that. We don't want that in our community. Moved back to Greenfield from Indianapolis because it's a small community, and that's the way we want to keep it. Another thing, what about the effect on the airport? You can't use a cell phone on an aircraft. They say it affects it. What is a data center going to do to an airport? So, but these are the things. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have Jeff? Is it Jeff Doley? Jeff Doley? No? Signed in. Not here? Maybe I just said that wrong. Is that a D? That's a D. Doley. No? Doley? Okay. Must have left. Will Begley? All right, after Will will be Bill Bridges,
Can you tell me his name one more time? I'm trying to type that out.
the one that wasn't here.
Bill.
Jeff Doley, D-O-L-E-Y.
Okay, and this is Jeff, or
This is Will Begley, right?
Will Bailey?
B-E-G-L-E-Y. Yeah.
Hi. I'm not going to regurgitate anything that's already been said. I'm here because I have a 2-year-old son. We live in Woodhaven. We're going to be directly affected because of this. I wouldn't be able to live with myself if I didn't defend him. And I have another one on the way as well in January. We don't know what the long-term effects of these data centers are. We'll be the ones that'll have to deal with that. And we've already discussed moratoriums. I think that's a great idea because there's just so many unknowns that we don't know. So I guess my plea is not necessarily to regurgitate all the information, but I just hope that you all actually take a look at who you're affecting, and not you all, but the data centers, and make sure that you push for the strictest requirements and make sure that that we're not just a bargaining chip for more money. So I appreciate everything that you're doing, and keep going. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, is there Bill Bridges?
Good evening. While you might request that I not regurgitate, I will, because I think it's relevant that you hear each and every person who will say the same thing, because the same thing is the truth. There has been enough studies, there have been enough people that have already undergone having a data center installed in their neighborhood, their immediate surrounding area. It hasn't changed. And as much as a developer might come and say that they have new technology, I challenge that each and every one of the data centers that are already erected, put this new technology in there. See if it's really the case. Do not let our location be the test center for supposed new technology. So I will say unequivocally, I oppose data centers. I'm not asking for a moratorium. I am asking that until these technologies are put in place and tested, my answer is no. This morning I attended the meeting, and there were a lot of people present who remembered Tuttles, and I came to these Tuttles meetings. Nothing has changed. What I invite each of you here and each of you standing behind of me, consider your own personal property a Tuttles. Fight for one another. Your properties are just as important as Tuttle's because you'll experience the exact same thing. And it doesn't matter whether it's Nashville who had a data center put in. It doesn't matter if it's Brightwood who had a data center put in. There'll be a gentleman speaking here who doesn't have the ability to condense into 3 minutes all of his data. And while this might come across as a rebuke, and potentially it is, the idea that you're asking for information to be condensed into 3 minutes is asinine. If you really want true information, you're going to have to really get data, and that's not going to come in 3 minutes. The other thing that many people expressed a concern about this morning were firefighters and the impacts and what will happen if you have a data center that catches fire. I don't have to present to you the articles. You all are intelligent enough to search fire data center. Houston was a big one. It's concerning. The toxins you can't do anything about. And while you may not be able to control any developer that comes here and asks to be able to do this, what you do have the ability to do is say no. And from my perspective, I will support each and every one of you who will say no to any data center coming into Hancock County, period.
All right, this next person, I'm going to say the name, and if you can't hear over the clapping, then you're just not going to get to come up. Bethel, is it Mark? I can't read this, M-A-R-T, Bethel? Is there a Bethel? Yes. When you get up here, can you spell your last name for me? Oh, Marcy, okay.
Okay.
I'm winging it.
What's your first name?
E-T-H-E-L.
Yeah.
Bethel Marcy. Okay.
I've got 4 hours sleep. I worked all night. I'm here because I'm like that gentleman. Just say no. Why do we need anything else? Why do we need anything else? We have a beautiful community. We're able to support each other. I know about a year ago, I remember seeing something on an internet thing that showed about 13 data centers being planned for Indiana going straight down the middle. And now I'm hearing 60 or 90. Water doesn't know county boundaries. Henry County didn't listen to their people. They're supposed to be putting one at the edge of Henry County. How close is this proposed site going to be to that one? What will happen to the water tables? I see all you have something to drink. Let's take that away, lay down a dollar bill and see how that tastes in your mouth. It's not going to work. Okay? It's just not going to work. We need the bees. We need the environment. We don't need the EMFs that cause cancer. We don't need the unheard but destructive noise that these things make. They're not going to give us all that much. I feel like it's like you're a beautiful young girl and some old man with money starts pursuing you. And he tries to lose, and you keep saying no, 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 till finally he corners you. And you keep saying no, no, no. And then he destroys you. That's what it feels like. A bad date. Don't go on it. Put your defenses in order and just say no, because preservation is progress. Preserve our way of life, preserve our community, preserve our counties, preserve our property values. They're going to be decimated. And I won't be able to enjoy my home or live in it if I have no water. That's the bottom line. You can't live without water. We are a farming community. Nothing is going to work without it. I appreciate what you're doing. You're trying to make rules. I understand that. I was very pleased to hear with everything you said. But the bottom line is we don't need to go on this date. We don't need to join the race. And I'm old enough to remember when a calculator was this big and computers were buildings. Now we're holding the calculator and the computer in our hand and sliding it in our pocket. What are we going to do with the leftovers? What are our children going to do with it? Are we going to leave them anything? Are we just going to leave them garbage and toxic waste and a way of life nobody needs? Need to get back to talking to each other face to face. Let's not be doing this. Let's be the people who lead the way to say preservation is progress. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Susan Langston. Susan Langston. Langston, Langston. And then after Susan will be Eddie Hager, Hager. All right, Susan, go ahead.
My husband and I have recently moved back to Greenfield after living in Henry County. There's just a few things that we have concerns about, and I'm going to go through some of them. Not only are these concerns now, but decades to come. There was a 90-day proposal of a review, and then 5 years after that. That seems a little long to wait for another review, and another 5 years after that. That's a really long time in between reviews of water and some of the things that are happening. Other concerns that we have are energy strain and grid strain. These data centers can create as much energy as a small city, as a small Fortville, as a McCordsville. They can increase our electric bills. Our community should not subsidize a corporation's massive energy appetite. Noise pollution, the effects of homes, our schools, the wildlife, the loss of our rural character that we have here in Hancock County. Minimal job creation, giving up land and water and resources for almost no employment benefit. And why should taxpayers subsidize a wealthy corporation? What is the real return of our investment for Hancock County? Let's not lock ourselves into a bad long-term deal. How about a third-party environmental study? The safety of our firefighters, our police, those all need to be reviewed. the values of our property will decrease. And it was earlier mentioned that we have decorative fences and landscaping. That's great, but when you put lipstick on a pig, it's still a pig. I urge the board to delay until a moratorium until the community receives a full transparency and an independent analysis. Thank you for your time.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, so Eddie Hager. Eddie? Hager for the notes.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen that are on the Planning Commission. We greatly appreciate the efforts that you have taken to allow the public to come and speak to you so you can hear from the public. Thank you to the community for coming in and speaking your voice, because this is my 11th fight on a data center. Been doing this for 3 years. I'm tired. Unfortunately, the state of Indiana decided that taxes were more important than the residents. They were elected to protect Hoosiers. They were not elected to protect corporate America. Unfortunately, that's what's happened, and that's where we are. So I just have to apologize to everybody that's in the room that's where we're at, but we got to deal with it. Greatly appreciate the efforts of the young lady that was over there. Your planning director?
Yeah.
I'm sorry that she's having to do this job. She is not prepared to do this. Everyone on this board, you owe them a responsibility to have somebody that's a professional to analyze this. Not somebody that's looking up on the internet, which she admitted to, not doing the studies and then figuring out what fits in. That doesn't work. This county owes it to these people to have a professional team come in and write your ordinances. I looked through those ordinances and I was shocked at the lack of enforcement. I was shocked at how corporate driven it is. I was mortified that you would only review it every 5 years. Do you know what happens in 5 years? A lot. I couldn't believe the stuff, and I don't know where she is, or I'd apologize. I'm not picking on her. I'm not picking on you. You're one of 11 communities that I've been working with to fight this. We're fighting the state of Indiana. We're fighting the industry. It's not you guys. Like I said, I apologize that you're having to be here. It's unfortunate. But I'll sound the alarm. You have no idea what's coming at you. It's very unfortunate. My nephew lives within a mile with his 3 young children under the age of 5.
30 seconds.
A friend of mine lived right there. Lived there since 1973. She's 80 years old. She's not moving. But you're going to force her to move. Every time I go down Mount Comfort, I see a house being torn down, a resident being moved, a beautiful home being destroyed because there's a warehouse by it, or there's a semi running by it. People don't want to live around that.
That's 3 minutes.
So I would encourage you guys to reconsider and get professionals to help with your ordinances.
Thank you. All right, next up is Leah Lederman. Is Leah here? Leah Lederman?
Leah Letterman?
I'm sorry, did I say that wrong? Letterman, sorry. Lederman. I should know that. Sorry I apologize.
You recognize
Yeah, I recognize her now. Sorry. Yeah. I apologize for tearing your name up.
I got to follow that guy. This is very quick. It's a bullet list. Of course, I will repeat, thank you all for being up here. I know that this has been a lot of work. Things that I'm interested in seeing as a result of this committee, I would like to see if a data center goes in, that there's local and direct monetary contributions to the fire and EMS of the township. that there is guaranteed employment of the area unions. We have a major issue with people not even being from Hancock County and there being no regulation of that. I don't know how that works. That sounds hard, but that's an issue that I'd like to see addressed while we have the floor. I'd like to see parks dedicated to that area and sponsored specifically to that area, and in addition to any fiscal promises made, those parks also to include nature and history centers, things like that. Tell them to put a mural on their walls. I'm telling you guys, I'm going to get one in there eventually. That there is guaranteed road repair and construction routes by local construction companies. That the impact studies are not just paid for by the developer. Someone just said an outside study, because self-reporting is not sufficient and frankly dangerous. I mean, it just seems not wise. Of course, that there are very strict, very thorough decommission regulations, and that there is very strict enforcement to ensure compliance with whatever you guys recommend to the Plan Commission, which they then recommend to the Board of Commissioners. 10 years ago plus, we set up an abatement application that was insufficient. I know that we can't see everything coming, especially with a data center, but we are eating it now. And I have seen elected officials say they're bringing in a lot of money to this county, so we shouldn't punish them. That is a very dangerous thing. And I know that you don't feel that way, and nor do the majority of the elected officials in this county right now.
30 seconds.
But that kind of mentality is scary. I'd also like to see more research done on the impact on property tax values, and I think that this committee should be allowed to finish its work along its original timeline, which was to be finished in October, not tonight. I don't know what happened there. I support you. I support the elected officials in this county, but that's a little sus. It doesn't look good. Finish your work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Julie Robertson.
Can you give me the name one more time?
Robertson, Robertson, Julie.
Julie Robertson.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm becoming a little bit better at this, I think. So I'm going to give you one. I got to take this out. I can't hear myself. I want to give you one suggestion that I don't know if you've done in your studies and whatever, but I remember we had a person say something about Hancock County not having a noise ordinance, which I have found before that, I found that, which I think is absolutely asinine. And they were like, how do you measure it? How do you, when they go out, it's not making the noise. So I did a research to see if this was even possible, and oh, wait a minute, it's probably AI, so I don't know if I can trust it. So it's up to you all to maybe research it. But I think that you can actually install decibel at the edges of their property lines. And if they go over a certain amount, you give them a warning. And then after that, you tell them, you don't fix this, we're shutting you down. Pure and simple. Don't play with them. We all know that powerful people lie. People with money lie. They can promise us everything in the world. But what happens again? What happens when they don't follow through? That's one thing. Why do we have to go so fast on this? We need to slow down. Like I said, we can't even trust the internet right now. You can't. My whole Facebook feed is nothing but AI videos. What does China or whatever, what do you think they're going to do with that technology by coming in here and start showing everybody what our presidents are saying or what our elected officials are saying, and people will start to believe it because it's becoming more and more realistic. And it's going to get better. I feel like we need to also protect our farmland. Where are we going to get food once all these things come in? Every time I see another field go away,
do we want to rely on another country to feed us so that they can yank it away from us in the future and say, make it through this winter? We'll just clean you all up, the people who are still alive, and you're going to be under our thumb. I would also like to know, is there a place where we can get that paperwork that they presented at the beginning?
Yeah, everything that's been in front of this committee is on a web link on the county's website. Kayla can get that for you if you contact her office tomorrow.
Okay, now also, I had a dog, I've always heard about this, never had one until
30 seconds, by the way.
my last dog. Thunder and
Fireworks.
fireworks, thank you. My dog couldn't get close enough to me. I thought she felt like she was trying to get in me. She was so afraid. That means all of our wildlife out there, there are a certain percentage of animals out there that every time they hear stuff, they don't know what it is, and it's not good for anybody. I think that's
Time's
probably
up.
everything.
That's 3 minutes.
No nuclear either.
Okay.
I said, imagine my horses. Let's talk about noise bothers.
So that's all of our speakers this evening. So since we have a little extra time, how many people do we have that would like to continue to speak?
Oh, wow.
1 dozen.
A lot of people didn't know about it to sign up.
I would like to say something if I can.
Put your hands up if you want to speak. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
I'll stay all night and listen to
But
anybody
we can
that wants to
do,
talk.
let's move to, I know it's not going to be popular, but if everybody wants to speak, we'll go to 2 minutes for what we call the walk-in. So I'll start on the left side of the room. Guy in black, come on up. And I'll need you to sign in.
My name is John Beal, John.
Could you pull the microphone up, please?
EAL.
Pull the microphone
John
up.
Beal. I live in Woodhaven, here with my 2 daughters, 2 of my 4 kids. You guys ever been to Woodhaven, you know that it's a community full of small children. And one thing that I haven't heard talked enough tonight is the human cost. Let's not be naive. We know what this is going to do. Air pollution, water pollution. We know our electricity is going to go up. And I'm sick and tired of hearing if. We don't need to do this. We can drag our heels if the state makes us. Make it painful for them. Find me one person in this county that wants this. Go to Woodhaven. I'll give you $100 if you can find me one person who's in support of this. The answer is no. That's all.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, okay, we're self-reporting. All right, come on up.
I'll be real
I want you
quick.
to state your name and then sign in before you leave the podium.
Catherine Novick, resident here of Greenfield.
Could you spell your last name?
I'm sorry?
Could you spell your last name?
Novick.
Okay, thank you.
Maya Angelou once said that when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Last week, Hancock County commissioners, maybe? Either way, they suspended an abatement for an Exeter Mount Comfort Land LLC, one of those big warehouses over there. The owner is EQT Real Estate, who's bringing this to us. But they just canceled their abatement. So why are we giving them a second chance?
Who else did we have?
Watch the
come on
meeting
up.
from this morning. They don't know who EQT is.
They'll find out.
You can go ahead and state your name and start
Hi,
your 2
I'm Carla
minutes.
Pierce,
Okay.
Pierce, and I live in McCordsville, not too far from Woodhaven. That area recently had the EMF towers put up, okay? Loss of sleep, loss of tons of anxiety that has happened. Told not supposed to do any of that. No one checked it. No one's checking on anybody. Dead birds, dead animals, all of that. Okay, it's just down the road from where this is supposed to be going. You're going to get it on both ends. The EMF is known for being part of these issues with the data centers. that's also the #1 worst water in the state already. Why don't we do something about that? Try to fix that area. And then you want to add a data center. So whoever wants to add the data center, and also causing more issues with water. We need to focus on what we have right now and fix that before we add more health issues to the people around there. Thank you.
How many do we have in over here to my left that want to speak yet? 2 more? Okay, thank you. Yeah, we'll move to the center and then to the right. So, yeah. All right. I give her your name and spell your last name, and then we'll start your time.
Donna Wilson, Wilson. I'm a resident of Greenfield. In fact, my family moved here in 1980, and after grad school, even doing grad school overseas, moved back here because I wanted to be near my family. And I have raised 3 beautiful children, and here we are. I've been watching documentaries on data centers. I have been reading about data centers, brown water, constant noise, broken foundations by some people living close enough to these data centers because of the rumbling, because of the noise. And I'm not making this up. The woman showed us her foundation. Plummeting home values, skyrocketing utility bills. These are facts. These people have shown us these things. These are facts. And this is not what we want in Hancock County. This is not what we want anywhere. And so no, let's wait and see, blah, blah, blah. No data centers here. We don't need them. Thank you.
We have 2 over here. Did you write your name on the paper?
Write your name on the log there,
Make sure
please.
you do that. Are you the next speaker? Come on up. Yep.
My daughter.
Yeah. All right. So give us your name, spell your last name, and we'll start your time.
My name is Cecilia Wilson, Wilson, but I go by Storm.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
I have 1 or 2 things to say. The only data centers we need in Hancock County are libraries. Instead of giving our funding to a data center, we need to give our funding to libraries. I don't think anyone here even uses AI, and nobody who uses AI truly needs to use it. So a data center is pointless, and I'm frankly angry that Hancock County is even considering putting a data center here in our beautiful town. Thank you. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you, Storm.
There's 1 more on the left side. Okay. All right. Give us your name, spell your last name, and we'll start your time.
My last name will take 2 minutes. I'm Vanessa Brizendine, Brizendine. Sorry.
I didn't start the clock yet.
I was
Go
at the
ahead.
meeting this morning, and I'm here this evening, and this looks like almost a whole new crew. I mean, there's a few faces that were here this morning, but it was mentioned by our own commissioner when we were talking about just say no. It's no. It's no. We don't want data centers. We've got a letter of intent. Give it back to them. Tell them no. The answer. And the thing is, we've already been here and we're here again. And he says, well, his answer was, there's 89,000 people in Hancock County, okay? Why aren't they at this meeting? If they wanted a data center, wouldn't they be here to support it? They're not here. The only thing we're hearing is no. And I've not heard a positive thing about a data center anywhere. There's always problems. There's always the way. Here's what I'm hearing. A data center is a monster that drinks a whole lot of water, takes in a whole lot of power, spits out a whole lot of pollution, toxic pollution. That's what a data center is. And they wave a bunch of money in front of the people that have the power to bring them in. Our state is being real dumb because we have a big state, we have a lot of water, we have a lot of power, and the data centers know it, and they're coming. They're coming for us, not to help us. They're coming for us. And our state, because this is federal and statewide, are saying, well, yeah, come on. And they're not having to pay anything. The cost is going down to the people who live
30
here.
seconds.
What kind of price tag is there on the residents of this community, of this state for that matter, what price tag is on their head that it's worth it to put these data centers in here when nobody wants them? Nobody wants them. Let them put them somewhere else. Put them in another country. We don't want them.
Thank you.
All right. Let's take,
Could you sign the log, please?
we're moving to the middle section now, so we'll start with the guy in the orange, I think was the first hand I saw, but we'll just keep coming. Oh,
Okay.
I'm sorry, we had one more. I'll be, okay.
My name is Charles Cook, CWK. I've been farming. My farm's been in the Cook family name for 150 years. It ain't never going to be sold while I'm alive. And the county commissioners has the final say. Who's going to run the sewers for this dirty water? Nobody knows. McCordsville, Fortville, tax abatements. How many empty warehouses is there? I'm asking you. 6, 8, and you gave every one of them a tax abatement. I'm done.
Yeah. So I kind of remind everybody that this is a citizens committee. This was a citizens committee formed by the Plan Commission, so this body does not make any decisions. It has not made any decisions there. As I said at the beginning, this committee is making recommendations to the Planning Commission that will then make recommendations to the Board of Commissioners. So I just want to remind everybody of that. So, all right, sorry, go ahead, state your name, spell your last name, and then we'll start your clock.
Richard Windish. I live in Greenfield. My last name is Windisch.
Okay, go ahead.
I think I'm not going to repeat everything that's been said here tonight. I think the attitude's pretty clear. All I'm asking for this committee, you're all intelligent people, and you're obviously interested in what's going on here in Greenfield and Hancock County. I'm only asking one thing. Please find out for yourself what you think about data centers. Visit a data center. Go up and observe what's going on. Observe the noise level. Talk to the local residents. Talk to the people that live there around data centers and find out for yourself. That's all I'm asking. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next person. I don't care which one of you, just amongst the I think there were 3 of you. Come on up. 4 of you.
No, I don't want one.
Maybe form a little line up here, I guess, might be the easiest thing to do. Yeah. If you want to speak, just come up and stand maybe at the front row of seats. Don't come up too far. But.
Teresa Holland, Greenfield, Indiana, and I'd like to thank you all for
Can you
taking this
spell your
on.
last
This is a
name
big
for
job.
Rhonda, please? Can you spell your last name?
Pardon?
Spell your last name, please.
Holland.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I made some notes here because I want to be really respectful of people's time. When everybody's looking at this, I would urge everybody to, first of all, I want to say no tax abatements for data centers. If the tax abatements are removed, do they still want to come here, or will they go somewhere else? In the ordinance for residential and business that was put up earlier, I don't know if Hancock County has a problem or if there's a loophole in our current ordinances. I don't care whether we're talking about residential or business. There seems to be some situations, I'm not going to say all, because I don't have that knowledge, but I do know that there has been some situations where the land was originally owned by a local developer, and for whatever reason, business reasons or whatever, they sold it to a national company that isn't even here, which I guess that's just the price of doing business. But when it gets sold to a national or bigger company without having to bring back the plan for review, because they're still supposed to be going by the original plan that was originally presented and approved, then it seems like that is quite open for translation by the new owner. There's a lack of transparency by these companies with the local people who live here. We need to really pay attention also to all the players, and also if there's a conflict of interest, and question these conflicts. Thank you.
Thank
you.
The lady to the left come up.
Hello, my name is Brett Spencer. I was here this morning, SPENCER. I am the precinct chairman of BC4, so Buck Creek. My husband is a fireman at Buck Creek Township and also the union vice president, and he's not here because he's on shift, and he is 100% adamantly opposed to this as well because it directly affects him because he's at Buck Creek. I discussed with this morning about how the warehouses that are there currently do not pay taxes. So Buck Creek is starved of money from Hancock County. We are given $750,000 when we collect millions, and I mean millions of dollars as the tax TIF district over there. And we see $750,000, which is change. And so we're just now almost at 12 firemen at that station. When my husband started, there were 2 people towards the shift. So we've went from 2 to now 12, and 12 still is enough. I tried to express this earlier. Currently, right now, the firemen's air packs, if they were to go to the middle of the Amazon building, which, by the way, the Walmart center that we have here in Hancock County is the biggest in the United States. If they have only enough air to get halfway through. So these corporations are already being built without safety measures that all the people can be saved. And no one is saying anything. Why isn't OSHA involved in that? Why and how are these buildings being built without safety measures to make sure that every single person could be saved by a fireman? Again, there is not even half enough air to get to the middle of our square foot. It's the 2 million center of Walmart already. The noise will affect the firemen and the jobs that they can do because they rely on their ears to hear the sirens.
30 seconds.
If they can't hear the sirens, they can't save the people. And again, they're not paying taxes. And I would implore you, I couldn't get this statistic because of the time frame, but look and see how many runs statistically right now in Buck Creek Township or Hancock in general are going towards these warehouses that are not paying taxes. See how many, like it's at least 30 or 40%.
That's time.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Sir?
You make sure you sign the log.
Yeah. Did you sign the form, ma'am? Yeah, please do that. Give us your name, spell your last name, and then we'll start your time.
My name is Gavin Haggerty, Hagerty.
Okay, go ahead.
I am a 17-year-old. I go to New Palestine High School. Someone here today brought up the idea of using the money from these data centers and putting them in the school. And I would like to push back on that because the money in the end won't matter if no kids are in the schools because they're sick from the polluted water. I took AP chemistry last year. We took pH strips and we tested the water in all of in the entire school. And what we got back was it's a little bit acidic, but it's not bad. What I told my chemistry teacher today, that if this moves forward, I would want her to keep doing it year after year to see if it gets worse. And if it does, I would like for there to be reconsideration. But also, I've noticed something. Notice how no one here is for the data centers. Like, there's no one here who came up here and was like, oh man, data centers, love them, yeah. No one was for it, so just say no. No one here is for it, no one here likes it. You are here representing the citizens of the greatest county in America, Hancock County. Be for the people, do what they want. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. All right, give us your name, spell your last name.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm James Farley, and
Please spell that last name, please.
Farley.
Okay. All right, go ahead. Thank you.
And I live about 3 miles north of that proposed place, and I hear everything that goes on down at the airport, the shooting range there. So noise, when you measure, I'm a sound engineer, and so I wanted to speak to this. When you talk about measuring sound and you have a sound meter, you can stand a certain distance from a sound, and you can read on a sound meter what the sound is. At that point, that's what the sound is. But you can take a big speaker and set it where you're sitting and stand beside it and turn it up loud. You can't even hear it. You have to get back maybe 20 or 30 feet before you can hear it. And that's the way sound waves work. I keep seeing and hearing about people who live near data centers that hear these low-frequency sounds and high-frequency sounds, and it never stops. You can take a sound meter and stand there, and you won't pick it up on that sound meter. But you can hear it, and you can feel it as much as hear it.
30 seconds.
What concerns me is, not only at my house, there's an elementary school 2 miles. There is another school, the guy that was here, his school is maybe 3 miles. I'm 3 miles, and I hear everything at the airport. Any plane starts their motor, I hear it. But I can take a sound meter, and it doesn't show up.
Right. That's time.
So that's the one thing.
That was your 2 minutes, sir.
Then, am I done?
You're done. Yeah,
Okay.
thank you very much.
Thank you for
Sorry
your
about
time.
that. Yeah.
Thank you for your,
If you have
your
more,
work.
send an email to Kayla's office if you have more that you would like to share. All right, come on up. Next person. You might pull that down to your, there you go. All right, give us name, spell the last name.
Christiana O'Neill Ibanez.
Oh, you got to spell that.
Christiana O'Neill, O''Neal dash I, B as in butterfly, ANE, like in zebra. Wow. I'm from Shirley.
Did you,
What?
are you good? Are you
And
good?
what, this is my frog pond,
Write it down.
5
Okay.
years, and the retention ponds have in common. I learned the hard way that plastic does not last forever. My frog pond looked perfect, and then one day all the water was gone. And because plastic has an expiration date, 5 years. And these retention ponds, I hope we never get any, but you guys are here to relay information, and I learned the hard way about plastic liners having a 5-year. Anyway, that's what I wanted to share, because this retention ponds where all this dirty water is going to go, who is going to be looking underneath for this plastic to deteriorate and let all of that dirty water get into our aquifer? So, okay, that was it.
Thank you. Give us your, yep, hold her up. There you go.
I probably speak loud enough to not even need it, so
Perfect.
we'll see what happens.
Just give us your name and spell the last name.
My
please.
name is Timothy Farr, Farr. I'd like to start out by saying I am not technically a Hancock County resident. I'm a Marion County resident, but I was asked because of my career to come, although I will probably be disappointing him on what he was hoping I would say, because most of what I said, what I was going to say was already seemingly discussed by pretty much everybody and their mother, brother, son, daughter, grandma. So most of what I have had ready is now null and void. However, at least something I would like to at least add is one thing is, at least in March 11th, 2025, an article published by TechSpot.com said that AI search engines fail accuracy tests. Study finds a 60% error rate, which then, if you use Grok 3, which I do believe is the older variant, it was at 96. And then the next biggest thing I wanted to talk about is there is a sorry, hold on. I want to make sure I read this correctly. I believe it was 1,000. It might have been 100. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children has
30 seconds.
reported a more than 1,000% in AI-generated CSAM, which stands for Child Sexual Abuse Material, between 2023 and 2024.
Oh my gosh.
I do not know how much more it has increased or decreased by then, but it is worrying to say the least. And I withdraw my time. Thank you so much for allowing me.
Yeah, thank you. All right, one more. You pull the microphone down a little bit. Give us your name,
Hello.
Spell your last name.
My name is Paula Franco, Franco. I'm a resident of Woodhaven, so I'm pretty sure you've already had a couple of those. I guess my main concern is in terms of the data centers that you guys are planning, especially with your planning manager. I don't think it's feasible at the moment that you guys have a 1,000 feet range from a livable settlement as a consideration. I think there's not enough data that supports that as a limit, especially considering that AI is such a new boom to our society as a whole, because that is what it is. AI was a boom to our society. We had such a rapid increase that we don't have enough studies or data to support that 1,000 feet is enough to protect the people. The limit that data centers to protect our people, you don't have to hear them. That's also, I don't think that's feasible. What settles that information? Like, who determines what is hearable? Because what I listen to and what you guys are able to listen to is different. I'm able to hear higher frequencies than other people. My pets are also able to hear way higher frequencies. That's why animals flee from data centers. I will have to move from Woodhaven, which, mind you, I just bought a house there 2 years ago. I don't want to move. I want more time to be able to analyze these data centers. I want more time to be able to compile data. Why is it that
30 seconds.
If we have something that we're putting into our bodies, we require at the very least a year and a half? It happened with the COVID vaccine. That's the fastest we ever went, a year and a half to determine what we're putting in our bodies. What about the water that we're going to put in our bodies from data centers? Why do we have to move in a couple months? I require more time to determine all this data. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, that's time. Thank you. We just have the two more. All right, we'll just do two more.
Mine will be short. My name is Amanda Isom, and I'm in New Palestine. I don't know if it's even possible to do any research yet. Everybody is so racing out of fear of missing out of money from like data centers for some reason. We have all of this that's happened already here. So many reasons of why this could possibly just go so wrong. But what value is there to the county, or how much money can we get if we are like the one county that just doesn't have one? Wouldn't everybody want to just come? Wouldn't we all want to live here? Like, oh, that's a safe place. Like, that's all we want is to be safe, right? We want our land safe, our water safe, everything safe. How rich would we be if we were the county that's safe to live in? And everybody goes off to Marion County and these other counties, and they do their jobs, and they bring all that money back to Hancock County, because this is the one place we can live that feels a little bit safe. And we're the one that doesn't have the data center, right? Like, boy, our people really take great care of us. The moratorium works. Like, just give it a year, give it some time, see how these things fail on the other communities first. We don't have to be the guinea pig. The data centers are desperate. They're clearly desperate. I mean, look at the past 2 years. They want in however, wherever they can get. Super sneaky. All of the maneuvers, right? And so I do appreciate this committee so much, because not every county has this. This is amazing that you guys even developed as a group to somewhat work with the community here, but
30 seconds.
We don't have to do this, and I think that we'd be pretty valuable and have a lot of money from a lot of people if this was a desirable place to live. Otherwise, everyone's going to want to flee to the places that didn't get the data center.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Pull it all the way down. There we go. Thank you.
Yes, I
All right.
know. Good evening. My name is Christine Schaefer. That's Schaefer, S-C-H-A-E-F-E-R. And I was at the meeting this morning, and I could be naive, but I'm not sure why we're even talking about this. I don't know what's in it for Hancock County and for the people of Hancock County. I have not heard one positive thing in like a 2-hour meeting this morning and however long this has taken. Is it for economic development? Because no one is coming here as a visitor or as a resident because of a data center. They're come for I'm talking about the economic development. They come for the cute shops and the unique restaurants. They're not coming for a data center. And I thought that the purpose of boards and commissions and committees was to represent the people and to protect us. And I'm not convinced that's what's going on here.
Thank you.
All right. So that'll conclude the public comments portion of our meeting this evening. What we had originally planned to do was then use the remaining time to discuss key points that we heard. Before we do that, though, I'm going to switch my planning commission hat on for a minute. With a sizable audience here, I thought it might be good, and Kayla thought it might be good, to take a minute and let her describe what the process actually is with the current overlay. And I know that we've talked about that at this committee here before, but might be good for the whole audience to hear. So you prepared to do that, to explain the process of the overlay? That's what we talked about? Okay. So we have the current overlay as it exists today, and then as it becomes enhanced with some of these guardrails and restrictions, the process will all be the same, but she'll just kind of explain how that all shake out for any project that comes before the county.
Are we discussing then the process that any data center project would have to go through?
Any project, right, that would have to come.
All right, so in this, Rhonda, correct me if I mess this up at any point. All right, I'll pull this up. So the first step in this is the letter of intent that gets submitted by the data center developer to the Board of Commissioners. As we all know, that's what's recently happened. So what happens next is the rezone process. And that is how the site where the data center is proposed gets zoned to IG, if that's what needs to happen, and it gets the data center overlay applied to it as well, which is like a cloud that in planning zoning world can sit over any zoning district. So we have village overlays, we have airport overlays, we have corridor overlays, we have all sorts of overlays that can sit over any zoning districts. So anyway, that's just a brief. So once something is filed for a rezone, which has to involve an application and certain parts and pieces that go with that rezone application, it goes to the Plan Commission at a public hearing. At the Plan Commission determines and makes a recommendation to the Board of Commissioners on whether or not they believe that this project is in keeping with the comprehensive plan and is more or less what's good for Hancock County planning. So that's what the Plan Commission determines at that point, makes this recommendation to the Board of Commissioners. The Board of Commissioners is the next step. So the project will then go to the Board of Commissioners and for not only the rezone ordinance, but also for the declaratory resolution, which is part of this data center process. And at that point, they will determine whether or not they agree with the recommendation of the Planning Commission, whatever that recommendation is. It could be to give a favorable recommendation, which would mean to move forward with the rezone. The Plan Commission could give no recommendation, which is kind of a hands-off approach, or the Plan Commission could give an unfavorable recommendation and send that to the Board of Commissioners. So that's what the Board of Commissioners then makes the decision on how they would like to zone the property. One item that could be considered with any rezone is a written commitment that could be any number of different commitments, but one could be that zoning would revert back to the original zoning if a project didn't move forward past that phase. Okay. Next would be development plan review. Both the Plan Commission and the Board of Zoning Appeals would make a motion that the project would go through development plan review at a regularly scheduled meeting. This then, next would be a pre-application review. So the developer of the data center would come to my department, sit down, we would go through all of their application materials to make sure everything that is required for a development plan review, which is laid out in our ordinance, is present in there. And then they would be filed for development plan review. We would require a public notice for a public hearing for this particular development plan review to be in compliance with the overlay district. Next step would be the technical committee and the Board of Zoning Appeals if a variance is required. The technical committee is a group of department heads that meets once a month. We go over all technical aspects of the entire zoning ordinance and subdivision control ordinance, drainage review, highway review, all of those much more technical day-to-day items that your county government deals with. That includes mutual aid, so your fire, EMS, things like that as well. After technical review, this would go back to the Plan Commission with public hearing. The Plan Commission would then decide whether or not the technical committee's comments and had been dealt with. They would allow for more public comment and would choose to approve or disapprove or continue that item to the next meeting or certify it to the Board of Commissioners. Once again, this would go to the Board of Commissioners for a confirmatory resolution. If the Board of Commissioners, once again, believes that this project is of general benefit to Hancock County, they would pass a confirmatory resolution. And at that point, the data center developer would be allowed to apply for a building permit. So I've got that broken down into 6 steps.
Yeah, so that's it's kind of a long process. And the other thing that our county has is a unique comprehensive plan that also considers an economic development plan and a transportation plan as a part of our comprehensive plan. So there are also a project like that, I would assume, would also have hearings with the county commissioners talking about the economic deal and probably the redevelopment commission as well. So there's just a lot of opportunities for these things to happen. And just 4 months ago, we didn't have any of this. So we've made a huge step forward to put a pretty substantial process in place for projects like this. So with that, our next step, what we had planned to do was Rhonda was putting together some pretty detailed notes. We were going to try and pop out the minutes for this evening, try to discuss what we wanted to add to our executive summaries for the committee materials, then to send on to the Plan Commission. We had some discussion before the meeting that maybe that's a little quick to try to do that. So just open it up for discussion. Do you guys want to try to hash that out this evening? Do you want to take the opportunity to maybe have one more meeting to try to review all of those things, review it, take some time to review it on your own and come back and have that discussion in a 5th meeting? But we can wrap it up this evening. We're prepared to do that if we want to.
This is the 5th. Could we have a vote on that?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Meeting?
I didn't.
No.
No, we were discussing the process, the agenda of the meeting, how we wanted to accomplish the end task.
This is the 5th meeting.
I'm sorry, the 5th meeting. It'll be the 6th meeting. I'm sorry. So that's the discussion. So we're coming up on 7:30 now.
6th meeting? I thought this was our last meeting.
That's what we're talking about. So this was to be the last meeting. So we were going to try to pump out our meeting minutes and make our final recommendation this evening. But we're now at 6 minutes to the end of the meeting, so we'd have to go another hour probably to get that done. We could do that. Rhonda's prepared to put the meeting minutes out to us. We could do it this evening, or we could move to the 7th meeting. I'm sorry?
Wouldn't all these people that took the time to come here and spend with us when they want to know what our vote is?
We're not voting.
Well, I was suggesting a vote
We
over.
decide.
No.
We're not.
No, let's step back. What I was suggesting was that we vote whether or not we are ready to say the overlay is complete and our work as a committee is done. Has nothing to do with letter of intent.
Yeah, so if you recall, we had a subgroup, we called them the scribes, which was a fun name. And we've had this list of data center questions that staff has been using to work on the overlay with the Plan Commission, and then we have this compiled executive summary. That, together with a little formal report that Rhonda's putting together on a nice little packet, would be the report to the Plan Commission. That was the overall goal of this committee, was to make a report to the Plan Commission, and that report is this list of data center questions and this compiled executive summary of committee materials to go to the Plan Commission for the work on the overlay. So we can complete those two documents this evening, or we can take our meeting minutes and review it like we've been doing and come back to a sixth meeting and discuss this final deliverable to the Planning Commission.
Mike, I think it makes sense, considering how much time we spent tonight hearing from the public, that we have an additional meeting, be able to take all this information and review it
I got multiple pages of notes, right?
Yeah,
I tried to write down
I
notes
do
on
too,
every
and
single
I want
person.
to, we've tried to be really thoughtful about this process and engaging about bringing different perspectives and different information, and I'd like to go back and I'd like to validate some of the things that were said tonight, and be able to come back as a committee and discuss them.
Yeah, so what Rhonda just passed out is the cover of what this report that I was just describing would be. And it just simply says, the Citizens Advisory Committee on Data Center Siting, in parentheses, Citizens Committee, was created by resolution of the Hancock County Plan Commission pursuant to IC 3674407 to carry out the purposes of the section by studying the issue of the siting of data centers and provide guidance to decision makers in the event there should be future interest from data center companies to locate in Hancock County. The Citizens Committee met for 5 public meetings, that's including this evening, May 18th, June 9th, July 1st, July 27th, and August 18th to hear testimony from experts and individuals with experience in data center siting and discuss matters and concerns related to the topic. On August 18th, 2026, the Citizens Committee, again, this is draft, as if we were finishing it tonight. On August 18th, 2026, the Citizens Committee opened the meeting for additional public comment. Minutes of the meetings were kept and were made part of the record. In addition, the Citizens Committee prepared a list of questions that it determined should be considered by local leaders should a data center project be proposed for Hancock County. As made part of this report, attached are, and that's the meeting minutes of the 5 meetings, and then item number 2, data center questions document. So that's what we were looking to make as a deliverable. And if we wanted to try to finish that up tonight, we could do that. Otherwise, we can close and then just direct the staff to schedule a 6th meeting where we would talk about what we've learned here this evening to add to our compiled executive summaries and our list of questions for the decision makers.
I am not going to take another 2 hours of my time and have a 6th meeting, because I'm going to tell you all this right now. When I came to do this board, it was supposed to be community people in our citizens, okay, of the community. She's a commissioner, he's planning, she's on the school board.
No, I'm not on the school board.
Surveys, what do you do?
School foundation.
She's on the planning committee. Sorry.
I'm a commissioner on the Planning Commission representing all 4 school districts.
All of these people have a seat somewhere in this county. They all have something to say.
Except for
they
4
say
of
they
us.
brought in experts. Okay, you brought in people to tell us all the good things that can come. No one ever addressed the bad things, and I've tried to get them to address that several times. And Jeanine has a problem with me, and she's had it since I walked in. It's probably because I say this stuff on the internet, but I don't want to be a part of this anymore. I'm on that side. I shouldn't be up here. I'm on that
All right.
I'm being encouraged, everyone.
All right, everybody. I appreciate the compassion, the passion that you all have here. This is a citizens committee. It is people trying to work with you. That's why we're trying to hear from everybody this evening. So that is the goal. So we'll continue our discussion as to how we want to handle our next step. I think Ms. Oldham was thinking we should try to look for an extra meeting. But again, obviously the option is before us that we could try to wrap up this evening with our meeting minutes that we have.
I would like to make one comment. First of all, I would like to thank everyone that has shown up this evening. I'm overwhelmed by the turnout. And I believe it's our obligation on this committee to be responsive to you and all of the citizens of Hancock County. I don't think this committee has gotten far enough along in analyzing whether data centers are good and bad. But at this point, I would like to formally make a motion that this committee recommend to the Hancock Area Plan Commission to declare a moratorium on data centers.
All right, so kind of following the rules of the Planning Commission, which I've tried to do with this committee, we have a motion on the table to recommend to the Planning Commission a moratorium on data centers. Do I have a second?
Before I give my second, and I'm going to, I just want to say, I don't think that the committee has had enough time to review the report that was prepared by Kayla, that would be then considered the overlay. I myself feel like it's a little bit rushed, and I would have preferred to have more time. I didn't realize that we were actually going to be finished after tonight. So I'm going to second for the moratorium.
Okay, so we've got a motion and a second for a recommendation to the Area Plan Commission for moratorium. I don't know if is that in replacement of our official report then, I guess, is what we would be.
Don't have to.
It wouldn't have to be. It could just be that for now, and then. Yeah. All right.
Could we just
We're trying to
order, please?
Yes.
Because we can barely hear up here. No, you can also issue your questions on your report and rule on and take a vote on this motion if you'd like as well.
All right. Well, we'll take a vote on this motion. We'll do a roll call, and remember, Ms. Gray and Mr. Smith are not voting members. So you can go. No.
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 Yes.
No.
Yes.
You got to understand what we're saying no and yes to before you boo and everything. I think what they're asking us to do right now is to say, yes, we want to stop, or no, we want to go forward with the recommendations and questions.
Did you guys all understand that a no vote is no recommendation for a moratorium? A yes vote is a recommendation for a moratorium.
Okay, so
Yes.
going forward with the data center, even though
Okay, let's stop for just a moment, please.
We may, if we can't have some order, we'll just have to stop this evening. I can't manage a meeting where everybody's talking over us, please. Anyway, bad technology, I guess, so. So what was the current, where are we at with our votes?
I think we have to restart because Clark is not a voting member. Does that include Clark because he's not a voting member? Okay.
Okay.
What about the members who are not here tonight? I'm going to guess because of their affiliation, they would be an automatic no, which means
they're not here, so they're not part of the quorum.
they're just not part. Okay.
So I'm sorry, what was the vote again?
6 no, 3 yes.
Okay, so the motion fails.
Motion defeated.
So let's state what that means, please.
So there was a motion for this committee to make a recommendation to the Planning Commission to enact a moratorium on data centers, and that motion failed. So the next thing that we would be looking to do is we have additional information that we gathered here tonight, and that's been the mission of this committee, is to try to seek out information so that we can make a thorough recommendation to the Planning Commission. What we have is our current documents, the data center questions, and the summary of committee materials. We can add to that what we've discussed tonight, and with this cover letter could be that report to the Planning Commission. And they would take that to continue the work on the overlay ordinance with the staff.
No, sorry.
I'm
No,
sorry,
you're out of
no.
order.
We're not taking any more public comment, please.
I'm sorry.
We're not taking
you're
any
out of
more
order.
public comment this
I'm
evening.
sorry. You're out of order.
All are elected officials.
You're out
Nobody
of order.
here is.
Not elected.
Not at all.
We're not taking any more of public comment, but I will address that. We have 2 elected officials on this citizens committee. Everybody else was appointed by the Planning Commission. If you look at the sidebar of your agenda, it tells you what their affiliations are. That was all driven. There was state statute and precedent for the way that committee was put together. We do have 2 elected officials that are on this committee, and they haven't, as you saw just a minute ago, they are not voting on any of these recommendations. They're simply here for guidance and for information. So it sounds like we're maybe at a little bit of an impasse as to what we want to do. So do we want to direct the staff to try to set up a 6th meeting to discuss the information from this evening to finalize the report to the Planning Commission?
So I'd put in a motion for the 6th meeting.
All right. So we have a motion and a second for a 6th meeting, time to be determined by the staff, the way we've been doing it with email.
My name is Samuel Gallion.
And who was the second?
Kylie. It's Kylie. Kylie Blaylock.
Kylie was the second. All right, we'll take a roll call for that as well. And a yes is for a 6th meeting.
Mr. Long?
Yes.
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 Mr.
Yes.
Yes.
Ms. Blaylock?
Yes. Ms. Jackson, have you resigned from the committee? Okay. Okay.
Okay.
So skip her.
Yeah.
Mr. Overhauser?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so Kayla, we'll have to get to work on scheduling a 6th meeting.
Can I make one correction to the minutes that on the previous vote, with the resignation of Ms. Jackson, it would be a 6-2 vote.
6-2.
Thank you.
Yep. Who were our 2 no's?
Overhauser, Saddam.
Okay. All right. So
That was also, Kylie Blaylock was included in that.
Yeah, she should have been number 3, if I remember right.
So we have 3 no's and 5 yeses.
5-3 because she voted in the negative.
Oh,
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
thank you, Derek.
Okay. So the next thing will be the 6th meeting. Once we get that scheduled, there will be public notice on that. The Planning Commission will be getting the summary that this committee got from Kayla next Tuesday evening, the 25th.
We'll receive a copy of the minutes from tonight of the speakers that spoke. Is that right, Rhonda? Okay.
Yeah, just like, yeah, we have some pretty detailed minutes from this meeting for sure. So, all right. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
A motion for adjournment.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, thank you everybody for coming.